goodness. So fancy meeting you here on this Wednesday. Here at this place that we are, that is the Swole Initiative Network. Hello. We're here to play Call of Cthulhu. Tonight, my cat's eating my dice. We are on session 4 now. Oh my god, so much is happening. We have a recap that is gonna make my brain explode. I need to take a sanity check to get through it. Yeah, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'll get you caught up to speed. If it's not your first time here, welcome back. You guys can't get enough, can you? But before we get into the creepy Cthulhu action, we have some announcements. And so I am going to toss this ball of announcements this way. Jay.
I wasn't watching this way.
Yeah, that was
No, other way. No.
Hold on, it's taking so long to come.
That's the trouble. Halfway across the country.
It was a curveball.
Yes! The ball is with me. The ball is in my court, and my court is the court of Norse Foundry, which is our first brand partner that I am throwing up tonight. They give us all of our premium metal and gemstone dice that we roll on and off the stream, as well as the library of royalty-free, DMCA-free, stream-friendly music that we are currently listening to, which also includes my album, Sage's Curse. So you should go and listen to that and give me money. But you don't have to give me money.
It just happens.
Fine.
Very small amount.
Wow.
So yes, check them out with the code Swole, I think. Yeah, Swole, to get 10% off of your order. And now I have to. Oh wait, where's the?
Can he do it?
Okay, I have to throw it towards. So I have to go.
Nope.
Wow.
Absolutely not.
Just totally whipped it.
Got it.
Oh wow!
It did a whole 3. Yeah, it came back around.
My camera is flipped in.
Yeah, a wall bounce.
Yeah.
Wall bounce.
Fine, we got it. Hey, y'all.
I look at myself on this one, and it's
By all means, let's keep
what is in the
talking.
camera, but this one isn't the feed. The camera is the feed.
The limit does not
Good?
exist.
Good. Okay. Hi, y'all. We want to also shout out our lovely friends over at Griffin Co. All of our 3D printed terrain comes from the lovely people over at Griffin Co. And you can go to griffinco.com and get 22% off of your purchase with the code SWOLE22. Love them. Check them out.
Yeah.
I never do this, right? And I don't ever think about it. Hey, Eric.
Oh, yo. So, yeah, got it. Nailed it.
Yeah, okay.
I have been looking around, trying to figure out which direction this is going to come from for like most of the start of the stream. So,
Yeah.
That was my preparation. But our next sponsor of the evening is the incredible Hero Forge, where all of our fully custom player minis come from. You can design yours on heroforge.com. I saw that they have like robot dogs on there right now, and like a bunch of
And a snack.
cat folk.
Beige noodle.
Snacks?
Snack.
Oh,
Snack.
Singular. Just one singular snack.
Snack.
Snake! I understand.
Snack.
I love that you all got it in harmony at the same time.
Well, all of that can be found on Hero Forge.
But not snacks.
Not snacks. We'll have to give some feedback on that one. But heroforge.com. Check them out. And I think, I didn't look at where I was supposed to go with this. Oh, yeah, I got it. Here we go. Back to you.
Yeah. Oof.
What is
Delicious. Anyway, okay. this is a really smooth segue into our trailer. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Carl Jung's theories on the nature of dreams first began circulating in the late 19-teens. According to Jung, dreams are not merely random products of the unconscious mind. Rather, they contain profound symbolic meaning that can provide invaluable insights into the individual's psyche. You see, Jung believed that dreams are a gateway to the collective unconscious, a reservoir of shared experiences and universal patterns that are common to all human beings. Dreams, along with myth, fairy tale, folklore, and even religious symbols, are expressions of these universal archetypes that transcend individual cultures and time periods. Through the analysis of dreams, individuals can tap into this collective wisdom and gain a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. To quote Jung, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes." In Jung's view, dreams serve as a bridge between the conscious and unconscious aspects of the mind. They are a means through which the unconscious communicates with the conscious, often revealing secrets that lie unknown to our waking selves. In our previous session, our brave investigators had ventured into a mine to rescue some trapped miners and to hopefully recover them and keep them safe and bring them back home to the Hollow, the small town that centers around the mining industry. We can go back to the full. In the course of recovering the trapped miners, our investigators discovered a strange glow emanating from a deep recess within the mines. Therein, they found a strange gathering of these miners breathing in unison, and felt this take over themselves as well. Their hearts beating in this familiar rhythm, their breath resounding in this until finally, as everything hit a crescendo, Jebediah was able to collect the mysterious stone that seemed to be the origin of this strange hypnotic moment. You know what I mean? There's a word. Let's pretend I said a cool word there. Anyway. It's gone. I don't... Recovering that, and keeping it, secreting it away in your belongings, to the without the rest of the investigators knowing that you have this item, it became inert, and the miners snapped out of this spell they seemed to be under. As such, you were able to recover them with the help of Sheriff Marsh, who greeted you at the top of the mines, and you are now currently making your way back to the Hollow, walking along the dirt road as several caravans of the injured are being carried ahead of you, and as you walk down the path, the trees overhead finally breaking and giving way to open night sky as the dusty ground below you becomes more even, more frequently tread. You see that the sleepy town of the Hollow is wide awake. The streets are lined with family members, friends, people greeting their injured back with open arms. A few people searching frantically and calling out different names until being reunited or continuing their search for those that had been trapped below. It's strangely chaotic in all of this noise and everything, but it feels nice, almost, to be surrounded by people reuniting, hugging, embracing, and away from that close and kind of claustrophobic darkness and quiet of the mines below. But you were here. You were back in the Hollow. You were on these busy streets. You see all of this commotion going on. Is there anything anyone would like to do?
Did I say to the sheriff that we would go to Sam's mother's place?
Yes, he had mentioned. Yeah, he had mentioned you had offered your presence as part of these difficult conversations that were sure to be had for, I believe, the 4 who had been left below. Not able to retrieve the bodies quite yet, but making a plan to go back and do so at a later, safer time.
Yeah. So I guess I would, whenever he goes, I would follow.
Sure. And as part of, as you're kind of working your way through the crowd, you hear shouts of, Billy? Billy? Oh, God, there you are. And they're hugging. And similarly, you hear other people calling out, and then finally a voice rings through the crowd. Sam? My Sam? Has anyone seen him? Sam? Samuel, he's with you. He was there with you, Sam. And you see a woman, her face tear-stricken, her hair kind of frizzy and falling out of its neat bun, kind of frantically looking around, kind of like pushing past people. You see Sheriff Marsh had arrived in town. He was just a few steps ahead of you, but he meets your eyes and kind of gives you a nod towards her.
Oh, me first. Okay.
Well, I mean, we can.
It's fine. If you need me to go, I will go.
I'll break the news if you can provide the comfort.
All right.
Mrs. Montgomery. Sam. Oh, Sheriff. Did you see him? You see my boy? He should have been with the rest of y'all. He was down there. I haven't seen him come up yet. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, but Sam's injuries were too grave. We weren't able to recover him. We're gonna go back for his body, ma'am. But Sam's passed on. I'm sorry to say.
How is she taking the news?
She has like a look of almost like disbelief on her face. She's still kind of looking over his shoulder, kind of like still searching the crowd, looking around.
I will like intercept her gaze basically and just like walk down like towards her to make her focus on me. And say, Miss Montgomery, I am so sorry. I was the person to come upon Sam.
You saw him.
I did. I was with him for a little while before he passed.
He could still be fine. I mean, look at you. You're not a doctor. You don't know. He could still be fine.
I understand your reaction, but unfortunately, all things eventually come to a close. And this is only the closing of this life for Sam. I knelt with him and prayed with him in his last moments.
How was he? Did he say anything? Did he?
He was only really concerned with his loved ones and passed on his great affection for you.
That's my Samuel. That boy had a big heart, I tell you. I'm so happy.
He won't, I assure you, he went peacefully.
I'm happy you were there with him in his final moments. Excuse me. And you see, like, kind of as all these, like, happy reunions are happening around her, she kind of just, like, lowers her eyes and kind of, like, pushes her way out of the crowd as, like, tears are definitely, like, falling down her face in a higher volume. But the sheriff just kind of looks at you like, oh, that never gets easier.
No, it does not. Is she okay? Is she someone that we need to keep an eye on?
Ms. Montgomery? No, she's... Well, I don't know. She's never lost a Sam before. Maybe we'll check in the morning. Maybe we should do some kind of a vigil, something to... These families need comfort.
Yes, I agree. I think that would be mighty fine.
Not tonight. It's
No.
It's late. And y'all look a little roughed up yourself. I know the doctor's around here somewhere. He should probably take a look at y'all, make sure you're okay. I'm sure he's making his rounds now. And sure enough, you see kind of a middle-aged man, balding, a bit of a paunch with these like half-moon glasses kind of on the edge of his nose, kind of like making his way through the crowd, kind of like lifting his bag to try to like ease through people after a, excuse me, oh, okay, and just kind of deciding to take matters into his own hands before kind of squeezing through. You see he's kind of going to the individuals who were on the carts, kind of the worst off of them. And he's kind of like looking one of them over now as the sheriff notices him. Chuck! About time you showed up around here. And you see the doctor kind of turns around. It's Charles. Thank you. But yes, Preston, it's very good to see you again. Quite the situation you have here. He just kind of like looks around at everything. His eyes are wide. He's a little bewildered at everything kind of going on. But he kind of continues to check out the people in the cart. As he's kind of like leaning down and let's see, Billy Joe, give me a spot hidden check. As he's kind of leaning over one of these individuals now and kind of like tilts their mouth up.
Okay, yeah. I got it.
Success?
Yes. Sorry. I couldn't
Brilliant.
remember what the word we use.
You kind of you notice that he's kind of like he's tilting one of these patients' mouths up, and he has in his hand a glass vial that he takes a swab from inside this fainted individual's mouth and places it into the vial before corking it quickly and looking at it and kind of like pocketing it. But you notice that there is kind of a thick liquid that is present on the swab as it's extracted and put into its place.
I think I would mosey on over to the doctor and offer any assistance. Hello, doctor.
Hello, Dr. Collins. You're the baker girl, aren't you?
Yes.
Well,
By name, not by trade.
Right. Right. Well, I knew your father. Good man. Steadier with a scalpel than I ever was. But then again, his patients don't really flinch.
No.
Anyhow, are you all right? And he kind of looks to you, and all of you kind of are a bit dusty, and where you took the fall have like some dirt and such on you, as he kind of like looks at you and kind of without really like asking starts to like look in your eyes and kind of like grab your face and like, interesting. Okay. No
You're gonna need
signs.
a permit if you're gonna do all that. What's going on here?
Sorry, just well, there's most of these folks seem to show signs of some kind of the ones that aren't concussed or at least a little delirious, and have you been all right? Have you been coughing? Any other symptoms? Anything going on? You were down in the mines not quite as long as these folks, so hopefully you were able to kind of avoid the worst of it.
No, I've not been coughing. So, you gonna tell me what it is that you're looking for? And I'll look at the where he put the vial.
Well, Miss Baker, Miss
Yeah.
Baker. Well, I'm not too proud to tell you that I don't rightly know. Do you mind if I show you something?
Sure.
I'd guess that you probably have one of the strongest stomachs of anyone here. Well, look at this. And he pulls out this little glass vial, quart. And you see it's what he kind of freshly put in his pocket. And inside is this thick, black liquid that is almost clinging to the sides of the inside of this vial. And as he holds it up to you closer, you see, it's strange. This mucus, this of sorts, it doesn't behave quite like a normal expectorant. Yet it's present in some of these individuals' respiratory system. The ones who are quite down bad, they seem almost choked with it. Almost.
Does this look familiar to me?
You think back to when you all were standing in that clearing and the strange black liquid oozing from those bleached trees. And yes, this looks quite similar. Even the way that it kind of clings to the edges of the vial, it almost defies gravity, almost as if it's clinging upward in a way.
I believe this has something to do with all this tragic mishap here. Would you do me a favor? Once we recover the bodies of those who did pass, I think it may be beneficial for the both of us if you're there for the autopsy.
Oh. Yes, I would be quite curious. You see, I'm thinking I might need to confer with my colleagues at the university as well. I've never seen anything quite like this, and they have, well, perhaps better resources than I'm used to. I mean, we make the best that we can, but they've perhaps seen a bit more. Regardless, I can't explain it myself. So I think a second opinion and third and fourth and 15th might be of use.
Well, I agree. I will say that in the forest, closer to the mines, there was what I believe is the same substance. But it wasn't coming from a person.
No.
It was in the plants.
Well, it's not often that symptoms cross species, let alone in complete kingdoms. Curious. Perhaps it's fungal in nature, perhaps. We have to do some studying. Regardless, we need tools that I don't have here at my disposal. All we can do is collect as much as we can and try to study it for any changes before we can get under a microscope or something.
Sure. It seems to me that, and this is just my humble opinion, of course, it seems as though it moves on its own accord.
intelligent. Maybe. I mean, one could say viral infections can sometimes move of their own, or, we see it in fungi. Often, once it reaches a stage where it's infected a person, it's, well, you see, what's curious is most infections, they want to plant themselves inside the body. Our own bodies have ways of expelling it, mostly through mucus. Bodies are mostly mucus. You know this. But this, well, look. And he kind of brings you over to look closer to one of these individuals, and you see that, like, almost as drool, in a way, it's starting to leak out from the corners of their mouth, but not just in a single web. It's kind of diverting path and kind of like spreading out across them in small rivulets. You'd have to be looking for them to really see. It almost looks like veins, and it's not as concentrated as he has collected here, but it is almost moving out of them. Curious.
Is there a pattern? Is it moving in a particular direction?
Well, I'm not so certain. I am. Well, I've spent some time with the Degerlin boy, Cutter, I think he's called, and, well, poor boy's nearly comatose, but he's just absolutely oozing with the stuff.
Still comatose?
Last I checked, I kind of came out when all of this commotion and everyone, and he didn't seem to be, well, not to be crass, but going anywhere.
I think that might be a good idea to put eyes on him. See if he's any better now that, well, it seems like, I want to say it now that it's over.
When you were down in the mines, did you see anything growing on the walls? Anything that could explain some kind of infection? Anything living? Anything?
Did we see any kind of growing, like, I think so. Not that I recall. Just in the fields above.
Above. Curious. You didn't happen to collect a sample of this tree, did you?
Did we? I don't think we did. No.
You, I believe Dylan poked it with his pencil and then promptly dropped it as it was like coiling up towards you.
I did draw a very detailed technical drawing of it, though.
Yes, you did, and you like aced your performance check, so it is like the most accurate, lifelike drawing ever. Right. Well, maybe I'd like to collect some samples nearby. Water, that same ichor from the trees, and well, anything else. If there's any well, as much live samples as we can collect.
Well, there was also a deer who was off his mind. And, I mean, we burnt it, but I didn't know what was going on with it, and we just felt like that was the right thing to do, and it seemed like it had gone insane or something, so if this is some kind of contagion that's making people go crazy, then
Crazy?
yeah, I mean, have you talked to any of these people?
I mean, a few are a bit delirious, it seems, but I haven't noticed. Well, I haven't conducted in-depth interviews to ascertain their mental state. You say crazy?
Well, I use the term loosely, but they seem to be affected in the head.
Curious. We'll keep an eye out for everyone. We need to set up a temporary hospital. I was thinking the church, maybe, to treat those who are further gone. There's not really a facility else large enough. I know some of the town's folks are already gathering quilts and blankets and such to make it a bit more comfortable.
Sure.
You should come see me there. I'm going to tend to those with more pressing injuries, but you were down there too. I should like to do if you'll permit me, a swab to ascertain that you haven't likewise been afflicted. Those, you and your party who have gone down there.
That's probably a good idea.
And I'd especially like to check out that wall-eyed boy with you with the cut on his head. He looks a bit rough.
Yeah, he needs some help for sure.
All right. Well,
Kind of looking around like.
yeah, you're still like pretty affected. You had a pretty severe cut to your head that I think Billy Joe was able to kind of stemmy the bleeding, but there's still going to need a bit more treatment. I
had the John Travolta meme in my head.
The Pulp Fiction. Forgot what I was doing.
I can't think of
I
that.
lost all my friends too.
I can't think of that as anything but the Easter meme, because that's my favorite edit of at the stone. Anyway,
Love it.
that's what happens when you go back. You think of Jesus, even all the time. Anyhow.
Oh, there's also one plaster that's I had that.
Look
one
at his
plaster.
hair.
Yeah, it's just not doing anything.
Yeah, you see Dr. Collins is kind of like looking a bit like he's scanning over the crowd, but he keeps kind of like double taking in your direction, Dylan. But he's like, yes, come find me. I'll see to you as just to make sure everything is all right.
What will be there?
Great. Ma'am, and he gives kind of like an awkward little like he doesn't know whether to like handshake or bow or kind of just like he goes to feel for a hat, he's not wearing one, and then just like okay, and walks away. But he's kind of still tending to the others as he kind of like makes his way, and he's like, oh, if we could make our way up to the hello, if we could make our way up to the okay, well, no, all right, they'll find the church. Oh, that's a great idea. Yes, okay.
I feel like I would do like one of those like wrangling like whistles. I can't actually do that.
Absolutely.
I'm just like, hey everybody, go to the church.
Oh, a fine idea. Great. Okay. He starts kind of tottering up the hill.
That's how I get everyone to my sermons.
By me whistling at them.
In the church. Get it.
Who needs church bells when you got this?
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, you all are here. The part of the crowd is starting to kind of the families that are reunited are starting to dissipate and kind of go off in their separate directions. But you do see some of the townspeople are helping to wheel the more hurt individuals up towards the church, which is kind of up on this little hill above the rest of the town. And it is late. You all are bone tired. And kind of as this crowd is dissipating and starting to quiet down, you are kind of left with the stragglers out on the street. Is there anything y'all would like to do or discuss?
I think while Dylan was, well, those two were conversing with the townsfolk, Dylan just kind of looking out, watching, especially the folks that came out from the mine. Is there any like residual, not symptoms, but like any other types of things that I might notice that might, 'cause obviously we were down there, everyone was in a trance. Is there any, was there any sign of that, like residual effects of that on the ones who are living?
Yeah, you can give me either a spot hidden to kind of give a cursory glance or a psychology to kind of look a little bit deeper and kind of like get kind of a mindset from anybody.
Okay. I'll go with spot hidden. I rolled a 10. Success for me.
Very good. As you're kind of like looking around the crowd, you see that like a few of the miners meet your eye and kind of give you an appreciative nod. A few of them are kind of like searching actively for family. But a few folks are just kind of like staring blankly, kind of not really affected by, or like they're not really seeing their surroundings. And you see for some of these folks, their loved ones come up and kind of put their arms around them, and then they kind of like have a reaction a little bit, but they're still kind of like out of, and you see they're speaking, but they're just kind of distant.
A little dazed.
Yeah, exactly.
I know how that feels. Am I feeling strange? Other than like my concussion, my potential concussion.
Yeah, I think you definitely are like having some, the pain in your head is very present. I think you are feeling confused whether that is of the head injury or of the events of the day is TBD, maybe a little bit. But you are kind of like all of the cacophony of like the busy street and everything is really kind of like throbbing in your head a little bit. And you kind of like, as kind of the pain is thrumming in this like pulsing kind of pattern, you catch your breath almost unevenly, like a, which kind of takes you back for just a moment before you're able to kind of like shake it off and kind of go back to normal.
Join up with the rest of the group.
What's everyone else doing?
I think that I would be just making sure that everyone is getting back home okay. If there's any stragglers, I think if there's anything that I could help with, it'd be that. Being as big as I am, I think I can see over most people's heads. This is a fantasy for me. So I can see over most people's heads and sort of like kind of reassure or like kind of make sure everyone's getting back to where they're going. There's no one kind of straggling off into the woods again, that sort of thing. And I also want to thank Dylan for fixing my watch from last time.
Oh yeah. Anytime.
It just
I
means
guess-
a lot.
I guess I'd just be helping usher people to the church.
Great. And yeah, Clint, as you're kind of like helping folks and kind of guiding them, you see a few maybe prideful individuals who are trying to stand up and make their way despite their injuries, that maybe you kind of lend a helping shoulder to, or elbow probably with your height, kind of a forearm for them to kind of lean against. Are we all making our way up towards the church?
Well, I think we need to put eyes on Cutter. Is that nearby?
It is. He lives right off of kind of like the main. I mean, it's not really like a main road, but kind of the main square. You know that here, like there was the sheriff's office, and then Cutter's house was just kind of across the way. And they both are kind of on this little flat part before the hill that heads up towards the little chapel.
Why don't we make a quick stop?
Sure.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right.
All right. As those of you are helping kind of like give, there are plenty of people out there that are kind of like helping and will usher people up the steps and stuff. You all head towards Daggerland's house. As you approach, the door is closed. You notice that the lights are off. It is nighttime, but there is kind of a warm glow coming from, like a dull glow coming from one of the windows. You can kind of see a little bit.
I'll actually go and just lightly tap on the door.
You see that it opens. There's a moment, kind of a pregnant pause before it opens just a crack, and you see Mrs. Deggerland, Cutter's mother, kind of open the door. Yes, dear. You've come to visit again. Cutter's in a bad way at the moment. Is there something you wanted?
Bad way is in worse than before?
He hasn't gotten better. Oh.
There's been no change.
Give me a spot hidden check.
Hell yeah, I will. And I will not pass that.
No. She's keeping the door really cracked.
Can I do a psychology on her instead?
Sure, absolutely.
She's just so yoked. She takes.
Yeah, at a cursory glance, you can't see anything because she's being really guarded. So you kind of like look in her eyes. You look success.
Yeah, I got it.
You see her eyes are like kind of puffy, and like kind of flaky, like after you've been crying so much that you just kind of like almost like no tears can come anymore, but your eyes just like have that look of, she definitely has that, and she looks tired. And she's guarded in a way that almost is fearful. She's afraid that you all are here.
Well, are you all right?
Well, I mean, my boy is not doing well, and I've been sleeping much, taking care of him, but I'd give anything. I'd stay up as long as it took to make sure he's all right. But we're fine. We're doing fine. He's gonna pull through. Cutter's strong. He's a strong boy. Always has been.
Yeah. Well, we were able to find the miners, bring them out.
Oh. Well, that's good. That's great. That's
Yeah. Would it be a good idea to maybe share that with Cutter right now? Maybe some good news would help him.
I can let him know. There's not he's not responding much to talking. He's not up to conversation quite yet. You see, he's strong, but he's tired. It seems.
Right. How's his breathing? I know he was really struggling earlier. How's his breathing?
You see at this, like her eyes widen a little bit. You, I think, get the reaction you're looking for. And she, steady.
Well, the doctor's here in town now. Would you like for me to send him in?
Oh, well, Dr. Collins was, well, he was here not too long ago. He said he'd come back in the morning. So, we're, looking to his and the Lord's guidance, to see us through. But yes, Dr. Collins, he's a very kind man. He was here.
Well, good.
Has she seen the rest of us yet, or is it just because she's only like?
She saw you over her shoulder, and I think almost like I think that's contributing to the fearful look in her face a little bit. But you do know that she's like seen the group. Whether she hasn't really made eye contact with anyone but Billy Joe since she's kind of right there.
Okay.
I'm gonna. Is the door open enough to where I could like just put my hand on hers?
You look and you don't see either of her hands. They're on the other side of the door. The door's open maybe this much, and she's kind of peering at you through. But you could, place your hand in if you would like.
I think what I was gonna do was, and I offer my hand to shake. Well, it was good to see you, and we'll come back tomorrow and check in on you. And I'll just stand there waiting for her to offer a handshake back.
And you see one of her hands, shaking hand, she starts to extend. And in that hand, she's grasping a kerchief covered in this black ichor that she kind of grasps and then extends a few fingers towards you. And looking at her hand, you see small rivulets of this liquid, almost like veins. You wouldn't know it if you hadn't already seen it, as she kind of extends it out to touch your hand. Do you grasp it?
I'll just kind of gently, give her a hand pat, because she's got something in her hand, so I feel like that's weird. You know what I mean? So I'll just kind of do like the southern,
Sure. And she kind of pulls it back to her chest, and you see her hands are like visibly like shaking as she grasps this kerchief. And all right, I'll see you now. And she closes the door. As soon as she closes the door, you can hear on the other side. Actually, give me a listen check, any of y'all.
I have a secret.
Where am I?
Oh,
Nope.
No.
I missed it by 1. God
Use your
damn it.
luck.
You can use
You want to spend a luck? We are gonna roll for luck once you all take a rest.
Oh yeah, I'll spend a luck.
All right. The rest of y'all kind of turn away from this interaction, but Jebediah, as you linger a little bit here, you hear coughing on the other side of the door. Light, hoarse coughing, just on the other side of the door.
Horse, like they've been coughing for a long time.
That raw kind of, yeah.
I'm gonna, as we kind of get away, I've got my medical bag with me that I use for all my stuff. And any kind of like antiseptic that I would have in there, I'm gonna pull out and just kind of like cleanse that hand, because that is, in my mind, this is some kind of like virus. So, and everybody's gonna get sick from it, and
Yeah,
yes.
you pull out, you probably have
Durmex, thank you.
the closest thing you probably have is you have your embalming kit. You have a little bit, you all kind of smell that sickly sweet smell of formaldehyde as she uncorks an amber bottle, and you dispense some into your hand, and you kind of absolutely.
Well, I think it's safe to say that there's something going on.
Yes, I'm not sure if you all heard, but sounded like Cutter had been coughing for quite some time.
Well, I think with the handkerchief covered in this black ichor in her hand, she might be the one coughing. And that's just because I saw it.
Oh, it was when she was pulling away? Sorry, I thought it was while the door was
It was
open.
yeah, it was just on the other side of the door. And knowing that Cutter is, you can surmise that it was probably Mrs. Eggerly.
You think something spreading from Cutter to her?
That is, I mean, I'm just connecting some dots here, I'm not a doctor and not a scientist, and I mean, by trade, I just take care of the dead and put them in the ground. So, I've seen my fair share of bodies that have taken to a virus and been overtaken.
Well, if we're dealing with a virus here, this is a different... This ain't no gas, this is something way different.
Yeah.
Putting everybody in the church together might be...
The worst idea?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, that being said, if everyone has already been exposed to it,
You trying to quarantine
having
people?
all in one place might not be the worst.
Well,
I'm wearing my handkerchief up if I'm going in there, though. That's what I'm doing.
well, be it a makeshift hospital or a quarantine ward, it is what it is. And we said we'd head that way.
Now, what do you think happened to Cutter specifically, though? If all the other miners came out mostly fine.
Well, they haven't. And that's what the doctor was showing me. They all have this, well, the black ichor that we saw in the forest. In some way, it's on them somewhere.
You think it's on us? In us?
I mean, our exposure was much less. But it was exposure.
where do you think it came from? Like the light?
I don't know. Because I don't remember seeing any of that down in there in the mine.
No.
Just the smell. Maybe it's airborne.
You're telling me that disease can spread airborne?
I mean, it's not too far-fetched.
Well, I mean, I know you don't touch somebody that's sick, and I know you don't want them, coughing on you, but that's like, when you have that little bit of spittle whenever you cough, you don't want that getting on you.
But this is not like, I mean, I don't know, but this seems like what the doctor was saying, crossing species and across the whole animal kingdom and then also into plants. Like, this is, we don't know what the hell we're dealing with. I mean, there are certain types of, and you should know this, there's certain types of flowers that put off certain smells that make you fall asleep, or, like, that's just airborne.
Well, yeah, but that's like pollen, and that's like a natural order of things. This is something, seems like something more than that. I don't know. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. The way that deer behaved, the way that these black markings showed up, when people were acting, I don't like it.
No, I don't think it's anything anybody's seen before.
Don't like it. And he just refuses to expand on that, other than just not denying it, but hating it.
Hell, if the doctor's correct, then if everyone's heading down the same road as Cutter here, that church might be a bad place to be very soon.
I'll stand outside if you just want to open a window.
We can gather out front.
That's a fair deal.
I would know the church. Is there
In a
only...
biblical way.
Well, I've preached here before. Is there a separate doorway that would go into like the Reverend's room kind of thing in the back? Like this.
Yeah, absolutely. There's like the main front doors to the chapel, the two big double doors. But you know that like there's a side entrance that kind of goes into the
Lectern?
rectory. I think.
Rectory, yes.
Yeah, kind of like a more private area. That's like kind of an office, but also a place to take, do confirmations, etc. And there is a separate entrance to that, and kind of a private room back behind the podium, where then also where kind of a dressing room of sorts, before having an entrance to the chapel proper.
We could speak in private within the Reverend's office room around the back. And that way we would be at the church, but we can still speak in candid.
I think that's a good idea.
Sure.
Shall we?
And with that, y'all head up towards the church. You go around to the side entrance. You hear some hustle and bustle inside. They're still kind of taking some people in through the front entrance. And as you kind of pass by those big double doors, you can see inside. And there's just kind of a mishmash of folks laid out on pews, and then others kind of on quilts and blankets kind of on the ground and stuff, as loved ones kind of kneel beside them. And you see Dr. Collins kind of like running about, kind of like checking on people as you go around the side. The lights from inside casting these long, warm glows onto the grass as you make your way into the side entrance of the church. And the four of you stand inside the small, dark creature's quarters. And with that's where we're going to take our little break. And we will come back and see what's going on. We're just going to go to church, y'all. Perfect. So perfect.
Ah.
Love
It's
it.
for our band that's mostly spoons and percussion instruments.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on with spoons?
I haven't been reading chat except for every 15th message, and I'm so lost but so on board at the same time.
I'm glad you guys are having fun. That's
All right. Glad you're here.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, we will be back in 10 minutes to see what's going on inside the chapel. Stick around, we'll see you shortly. Thank you. Hello! Welcome back to the Hollow! Oh my goodness! Some stuff is happening! Last we left off, our investigators were checking out the chapel, which has become a temporary infirmary for the miners who had been caught in a collapse, and we're showing some peculiar signs of mucus and mucus-related things. Bodies are mostly mucus. That's something that I had a doctor say in this game, so you know it's a fact. Yep.
I'll never forget.
Yeah.
I quoted him in the chat.
Nice.
It's a thing. I think bodies are a surprising amount of mucus. How much of body? I'll do this in my own time. All right. Y'all
I've
are
got
in.
arguments.
Y'all are in. How much of bodies are mucus? ADHD. You are in the preacher's quarters in kind of a private room in the back of the church. You've come in through the side door. There's another door that opens up into the main chapel where you know that they are treating the infirm. But you are in this room. It is small. There's some light peeking in from under the doorway, but this room itself is not lit. There are some candles on the table. But what do you all want to do right now?
Sorry, this is the front room, and then there's
room.
back
It's in the
room. Okay,
back
that's
of the
what we wanted
church.
to
So
do,
there's
yeah.
like a door that opens that would lead out onto. I'm sure they don't call it a stage in churches.
It's
The
a
pulpit.
Pulpit, yeah. The
Yeah,
pit bull.
that would lead out onto the pulpit, where you do your preaching from.
Your jazz
Um,
hands.
But it's kind of that that room where you have to go and be like, yeah, these are my sins and I want to do this, and then you go out and then they sprinkle some water on you and your life changes apparently. We're not dogging on anybody or their beliefs.
I went through it.
Same.
We're just all working through some religious
We're
trauma.
through that religious trauma together
Yeah,
tonight.
that description is so accurate and also like so little information. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, you know what
I
I'm
love that
talking
I'm the only one who didn't go through that, and that's what I'm playing.
Perfect.
The
Now
rest of
you
us
get
are like,
to
"Mm."
now you get to experience it.
Wonderful.
All right,
Doctor's
but you
not anywhere to be seen.
the doctor, as you were kind of going around, you saw that he was in the main chapel area, kind of going amongst the patients there. But he is not in this back room with you now.
Maybe we should try to get the doctor's attention. I'll crack open the door and just.
Oh, did we not want to first?
Sure, you inflatable arm man out the door. But yeah, easily enough, you crack open the door, and you see the lights are on in here. Some of the candelabras are lit throughout the chapel, but they are few and far between. It is very dim in here, and they're trying to kind of make a restful, kind of making everyone comfortable, and easy enough. It's very quiet, so you could stage whisper and get his attention quite easily.
Like a cat.
Both of us.
Yep.
No, he looks at you. He looks. Oh,
Doc. Yeah, come on.
I'll be back with you in a minute. Oh God, what did he sound like? Oh no, everything's fine. It was basically this. Okay, I'm in it.
Higher register.
It was okay. Got it. Here we go. Yeah, I'm a nervous guy, and I'm a doctor.
Gotcha.
Nailing it. Hey. And he comes kind of tottering
Doc,
up.
you okay? You look a little nervous.
Hey, I'm the cool doctor now. Yeah, he hits the jukebox and oh come all ye faithful. Starts playing.
Gotta make the big jump.
All right.
Wow.
Nailing
So
it.
cool.
This is a serious game for serious people. But he comes. Oh, good. Now it will live on. He comes kind of tottering up to you, kind of like packing up his medical bag, and holding kind of a vial aloft as he. I've collected more. And he comes up to you and like, oh, yes, you've made it. Do you want to join or? Oh,
No. Maybe coming back this way.
All right, of course. Yes, most of the patients are sleeping now or starting to rest and find their comfort at the very least. It's a miracle what liquid heroin can do, because that's what was in medicine at this time. Only we didn't call it that probably. But man, these guys love riding the horse. Go on with what you were gonna say.
Doc, you got anything for a concussion?
Oh,
Sounds like you might have something good to help. This might be serious.
yes, I did want to look you over, all of you. You were in the mines for, a shorter period than the rest of them, but I still want to make sure you're not showing similar signs. If I could, and you, sir, you do look a bit dazed. It's good plaster work that you've done here, but I think you might need Oh,
Your expertise would be very much appreciated.
absolutely. If you could take a seat, could we light some of these candles? Get some light.
I'll go around and start lighting them.
Sure enough. Yeah, and this room kind of lights up a little bit, and he sits you down. There's like a desk with like a chair, but there's also like a few, like kind of a bench with some cushions on it. They kind of sits you down and leans you against the wall as he's like pulling at your eyes to look in them, and kind of like removes the plaster to look at the stitches that Billy Joe gave you. Excellent stitch work. You use the same knotting style as your father. That's just beautiful. All right. Let's take a look here. Follow my finger. Okay. All right. Oh, yes, Sonny. I do think you might be slightly, well, concussed. How did you come about this injury?
Oh, well, we came upon some miners, and then
You fell down a hole.
that's right. Sorry. Fell down some holes. We were knocked out. I was knocked out for some time, I think.
Oh.
I
Well,
landed most peacefully.
Okay. Well, I'd still think it's worth kind of looking you all over for going through a fall such as this. But yes, I think you might need some rest. I can give you something for the pain. But
Anything would be.
yeah,
This thing has been throbbing.
yes. Any other peculiar symptoms? Just the pain?
Well, I think generally most of us would maybe like to talk to you about what we saw down there, but maybe those are separate issues. Maybe the same. I don't know. My brain's a little mixed up, to be honest.
Well, I'll clean the wound and treat the pain, and if anything persists, then you can Well, I'll see to you again. I think a good night's rest will do you all a world of good after all you've been through. Gosh, I'm not sure that you've quite gotten your flowers yet for what you all did, but you saved a lot of lives. A lot of these folks, I don't think would have made it much longer without treatment for their injuries. So you've done a very brave and very noble thing. As he's like pouring alcohol like onto your like forehead and just like it burns so intensely as he's saying these like nice things. But he cleans your wound and kind of like tapes on a larger bandage and gives you 2 white tablets a little you're able to find a cup of water back here. There's a carafe on the desk for you to get some.
Good. Am I supposed to take them both? Or just one?
Well, what's your medical tolerance? I mean, I would take both of them, just so things. Okay, great. Down the hatch. Fantastic. All right. Who's next? You all went through a fall, or would anyone mind? Would anyone volunteer for a swab? I'd like to look inside your mouth, see if you have any of the symptoms of the others.
Sure.
You can look in my mouth, Doc.
All right.
What's funny, Clint?
I don't know why, but it is.
Swab it too if you want, but
Should probably have a look with both our mouths.
Fantastic. And he pulls out this little like cotton it's like gauze kind of wrapped around a tongue depressor and swabs inside the inside of your mouth, kind of like going around your teeth and stuff and down and like maybe down the back of your throat a little, but not really far, and pulls it out and kind of, well, you're clear at least. That's good. That's very good. All right. The rest of you, any strange symptoms among you? Anything? I'd like to check you all just for any signs of delirium or such.
What were the symptoms that most, other than physical symptoms, really,
Oh,
that most everyone's had?
well, there's confusion amongst those ailing. Confusion, some delusions, almost of some of them aren't really aware of their surroundings. They seem to think they're still down below. A few were maybe presenting some hallucinations, but they're incongruent. They're not. There's no commonalities among them. It's common among head injuries to see some things, but everyone's talking about, this guy is standing in a river, and this one's seeing the face of his mother, and and we all see things when we're a bit feverish and such. But yes, there does seem to be some affliction amongst some kind of, abnormalities.
Do they seem to be like memories?
Memories. I suppose they could be some of them, but Others talking about mountains eroding and nothingness, etc. I doubt that's memory. But they're just the vague mumblings of the feverish. Yeah, I see this all the time. You wouldn't believe what people would say on their sick beds.
Doc, I know I took a pretty heavy fall there. But while we were down there, I think all of us saw something. I saw things, memories, some things that may not have happened yet. But again, I had hit my head pretty hard by that point, but I don't know if Billy Joe or Clint or Jebediah could speak to what they saw.
I admit it was something. I remember memories that seemed like they were happening in front of me.
You experienced some kind of mass hallucination, you too, as well? Or
Yeah, happened to me. I definitely a unique memory, but it felt tangible somehow.
you too, preacher man?
I seem to recall something, but I can barely remember what vision came to me. I snapped out of it pretty quick.
You just kind of hear softly back behind your ear. Eugene. Only Jebediah hears this.
Is it coming from a bag?
It feels like it's coming from like someone whispering just behind you, but it is which side are you carrying your bag on?
I have a feeling it's like a satchel.
Right. So
you-
whichever side it's hanging to, yeah, it is coming from that ear. Oh, interesting. Some mass hallucination. Well, there are some gases that when breathed in large excess they can cause that kind of delusion or such, but on this scale, and for it to still be present in some of these others is that is unusual. They've been above ground for an hour or two now. You would think perhaps oxygen, perhaps that's what they need. Maybe that will help the situation. But if this is related to this the substance, something else, something fungal, perhaps, then there are studies that some funguses can have psychoactive properties. Some emerging studies.
That is also what I said. Thank you.
Jebediah, I mean, you said it was our Lord and Savior that saved us down there.
Yes, I did say that. I also said that the things causing it could have been gas and fungus.
Cool.
And if you don't believe in God, then how do you explain that?
Holy shit.
God is real. He'll send a bunch of confetti right now.
I just get cornered. I'll be like, lasers, activate!
That's so dumb. Why do they think people wanted this?
So great.
Oh my god. All right. It's definitely an explanation, but I do think we need further study. I can't really study into the nature of this substance until I can have more tools at my disposal. Uh, my own office is a bit modest, but the university has a great lab and resources and colleagues I'd like to confer with about this. Billy Joe, I've been thinking about these the autopsies. I'd like to conduct them there, with all the resources at our disposal, and bring in a few other professionals who are leaders in their field. They might know more about the source of something like this.
I think it's a good idea.
We'll just have to get their families to sign it. I'm sure it will be fine. For now, all I know to do is to treat the symptoms, make sure that they're getting plenty of fresh air and can clear their airways as much as possible.
Doc, are you concerned with any sort of spreading of whatever they have to yourself, rest of the town, us?
Well, it is always a possibility, and with so many unknowns. But there hasn't been evidence so far of it spreading.
Actually, I wanted to talk to you about that.
Oh,
We stopped by the Duggerlands on our way.
oh yes. The boy is poorly, but I do hope he'll pull through. The poor woman, she is absolutely beside herself.
Yes. She wouldn't really let us see him. What did you make of his current condition? What was his breathing like?
Shallow, but steady. Repetitive. He had but it was in line with his the arrhythmia of his heart. He was also suffering for heart palpitations, as are a few of the others. But that seems to be the rarest of afflictions amongst them. But Gutter seems well. I can only make him comfortable and hope that he's able to pull through, but I'm afraid that until he comes out of it, you see, there's nothing physical that's keeping him from speaking, responding. Unless his pain is just so much, but I was, treated some of that down, but the heart irregularity is worrisome to me. I didn't want to sedate him too far, of course.
So you would say that he has kind of it's like a rhythm to his breathing.
I suppose any of us have a rhythm to our breathing, but his is very pronounced. It's coming in short bursts. This kind of a ha 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 ha.
Yes.
Yeah, we've heard
that. And that was continuing this afternoon when you saw him, or this evening.
Well, yes. So, big fellow there, you said you've heard this before?
Yeah, I heard it down in the caves there. They were all sort of breathing that way. Like, at the same time. All of them. In unison. Breathing like that. It gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Well, that's very curious that, it's if they're all afflicted by the same thing, then they could all have the presenting symptoms, the arrhythmia, the shortness of breath, but for them to all fall in perfect unison, that's highly unlikely. But I suppose not impossible. Curious.
And for all of them to stop? That seems even more weird.
Oh, they stopped. What, did anything, trigger this change, or was it just sudden?
This was about the time when I was seeing some things.
It got a little fuzzy.
Same.
But Jebediah over here was the one who really, I mean, he did something. He says, Lord, our Lord and Savior came and helped us, but I don't know.
You're saying that prayer is what stopped this affliction?
That is but a small example of the power of prayer, my dear doctor.
Kind of looks at you for a moment, but moves on.
I think we need to also address the fact that there's evidence that Mrs. Duckerlin is now afflicted.
Oh,
Mhm.
it's spread now.
And I think that you could probably agree here, but I would assume that Cutter's probably the worst case currently.
Which is curious, because by and large, his exposure was small in comparison to some of these. From what I heard, he was down there for mere hours looking for coming back with what's his name? Sprig.
Cricket. Sprig.
Oh, Cricket. Cricket is the boy. He is laid up currently in the chapel. He was down there, I think, for a longer time. He seems he's quite feverish. He's one of these mumbling and about this the mountains being reduced to rubble, etc., etc.
Do you think exposure time? Well, if Cutter was down there for a shorter amount of time, but his feeling affects more strongly, then it doesn't seem that time has much to do with it. So something must have happened specifically to Cutter.
Indeed. Some exposure. You didn't ingest any moss. You didn't drink any water below ground. You didn't have any open cuts that were under stagnant water or anything like that, did you?
Come to think of it, I haven't eaten for like a day.
Oh goodness.
I'm hungry.
Right.
With all the chaos, it's just been so. I forgot to eat.
Oh gosh, yes. I'm sorry to keep you up with my questioning. This can all wait until morning. It's very late, and you should all be off to rest and dinner. And There are extra pews or blankets here if you'd like to sleep here in the church. Do you have somewhere else you could stay? I know that Sheriff Marsh has opened his home to a few individuals.
How far are we from my home?
You live a little outside of town. I think we determined you live in the next holler over. But I think either Dylan is staying with Clint, who lives a little outside of town as well. Probably a little closer. And I'd say that Jebediah, y'all are probably standing in his bedroom. This is probably, or maybe, no, you're probably hosted at someone's like en suite at their home. You know what I mean? So I'd say that you have like a place closer here in town. If you want. So you have a few options, but Billy Joe, your home with your sisters is probably about like, I don't know, 30, 45 minute walk from here.
Well, I have a large home with food. If you guys want to walk and be out of this area for a little bit.
I mean, that'd be great. I mean, Dylan and I are housed up over at a farm, but it's a bit away. I don't want to disturb them so late. Dylan, what do you think?
Safe place to stay. Sounds like a nice night.
You don't want anybody walking off on their own, especially with all this weird creepiness going on too. So.
Well, I know these woods and they know me. I'd be all right.
Yeah, tell that to that deer that bashed its own head in.
That was an anomaly, for sure. That one I've not seen before.
Fair. I think you could probably tell that Clint doesn't want to be alone. More so than...
Well then, let's head out to the morgue. And I'll walk out the door.
All right. I'll see you in the morning. I'll stay here and tend to the sick.
Evening, Doctor. Jeb, you coming along?
Yeah, why not? I could go for a warm meal.
Doc, do you have any medicine for maybe my symptoms for tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely. Here. And he gives you like an entire vial of like liquid painkiller. Take 2 droplets with a glass of milk in the morning, 3 if you're feeling, if you want to feel a little fuzzy around the edges. Old school medicine.
Good luck.
Figure it out. But yeah, he gives you a vial. He's like, sure. And you look at the vial and never mind. I'm in the wrong time period. I was gonna say. Yeah, he gives you a vial of laudanum.
Superb. Thank you, Doc. Much appreciated. But I'm sure we'll be in contact and communication throughout this whole craziness.
Right. Yes. Do come back. I'd like to check in on you again in the morning, and then Miss Baker, we'll coordinate a time to have that autopsy. I'm quite curious myself, and quite eager to get a bit more studied all of this going on.
Yes, and you'll need to make sure that the sheriff is organizing a team to go retrieve.
Oh, I'm sure that Preston is on top of it, as always. All right, well, be safe, and I will see you tomorrow.
That's the plan.
Evening, Doc.
Get some rest. And he leaves back out into the body of the chapel. And y'all are going to head out to go to the baker's house, where you live with your two sisters. Is that correct?
Yes.
And we can go ahead. You all are walking down the path. Billy Joe, you know this. I mean, you could walk it in the dark. You are in the dark. And as you're kind of like walking along, you all realize just how dead tired you are. Picking up your feet requires a lot of effort. And you are just like, the hunger sits in of a day of like a lot of like physical movement, and then, you know, not a lot of calories. By the time that you're all kind of like maybe 15 minutes down the road or so, the hunger really sets in and the fatigue really sets in. Is there anything you all want to talk about while you're en route?
Before we do,
Of
can I
course.
make some kind of roll to see if I can pick up on an ulterior motive with the doctor?
Ooh, yeah, I mean, that'll be psychology, or what are you looking for specifically? You're just trying to read his emotional, mental state, or
No. Like he has like a literal ulterior motive. Like he's going around taking samples from everyone. Now he wants to invite people into these autopsies and things, and
Understood. Yeah, we can resolve that with a psychology.
oops. I did not make it.
Yeah, as you're kind of during that conversation, Jebediah is an extremely like observant individual. But the doctor's own kind of like nervousness, and kind of temperament masks a lot of anything kind of deeper going on, so you don't really get a read.
Are we sure that we should just be offering up any and all information to anyone who shows up in front of us?
What do you mean?
We didn't even have a chance to debrief amongst ourselves before
Well,
the doctor came in.
well, you know, I overheard you with the sheriff basically saying that nothing happened. So I thought maybe for a minute before Dylan started speaking that I was the one going crazy. But thank God that Dylan said something. So you just lying to people now, preacher?
Jib, I tried to catch up with you after we got out of the mines. What are you going on about?
There's plenty of people around at that point.
So you do think there's something more here?
I don't know, but my intuition tells me that there's something about the doctor.
I mean,
The way he's poking and prying, and not just to help people. Gathering things.
He's trying to get to the bottom of it. What's wrong with these people?
Is he?
I mean, that's what it would seem like.
Mhm.
He stitched up Dylan, didn't he?
Keeper, how am I feeling right now? What did he
Great.
give me?
Yeah, you're feeling like, you know, when you're kind of like zoomed out of your own eyes, when
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're kind of like watching yourself move a little bit, you were feeling good. Like you feel like you're piloting yourself from a distance a little bit.
Got the moon boots on.
The alcohol really stung, and you became really aware of your wound and your stitches for a while. But that is pretty well and truly numbed at this point. You are feeling better. And you can roll a D4, please.
A D4?
Uh-huh.
That's
Is
new.
that ever happened? 3.
All right. You can heal back for 3 of your
Oh.
hit points.
Wow.
Nice.
Now, Jebediah, you listen here. That doctor's a saint.
I'm over here. That is a tree.
Now, Jebediah, you listen to me.
I mean,
What do you think?
Now, there were some strange things that we all saw down there. All these people sat around in unison.
You didn't see anything else?
Like I told Billy Joe, I saw memories before I snapped out of it.
it was that green light.
Where did that go?
It's just like suddenly wasn't there anymore. But I mean, we can agree that was the source of some of this, right? The way
They're
that,
all staring at it.
right? Hmm.
I have that source.
I'm sorry, what?
You have the sauce.
Yes.
Sorry.
I think you do too.
I think I got the sauce.
What do you mean you have the source? You mean you have the green light thingy?
Well, I don't think it's a green light thingy anymore.
What is it, a rock?
As far as I can tell now, yes.
Where is it? It's in your hat? You got a tall hat.
I have a regular sized hat.
Very tall.
It really got me.
It is not under my hat, no.
Where do you keep something like that?
It is in my bag. Obviously, if I have it on me.
Oh, right. I'm standing on the other side. Well, I mean, my first instinct is to have you show it to me, but I really don't want to see that thing again.
Yeah, I'm in two minds about it myself. I didn't really watch it as I put it into the bag.
Probably smart.
What do you mean?
Everyone else was staring at it. I happened to be facing the other way.
But they.
Now, I did not lie. Our Lord and Savior did help deliver us. I didn't want to touch it, so I pushed it in there with the Bible.
Well,
He was a tricky man, Jebediah. Tricky man.
I don't know what you are implying.
I think I know what I'm implying, but I'm not totally sure right now.
ooh.
So you mean, wait a minute. You mean you literally had the help of God by using the Bible physically?
Yes.
That
What happened? What happened to the Bible?
It's also in the bag.
Oh, so you don't know if it like melted next to it or something?
From what I could see, it was a little singed.
Did it feel like it was giving off heat?
I don't remember. Did it feel warm when I got near to it?
As you were getting closer to it, yes, like it was giving off like waves of heat. But as soon as you put it in your bag, it kind of dissipated.
Yep.
It didn't feel warm to the touch.
So yes, in the immediate sense.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
No, but it made the bad stuff go away, and it's currently in the same place that it was when the bad stuff went away. Now, I didn't rightly want to get it out in front of the entire congregation of Green Rock worshiping heathens.
I mean, fair.
And I did want to tell you before the doctor was invited in. Which is definitely why I took you through the back door.
Oh. Well, I don't know what we even do with something like this.
You don't know what it looks like?
I mean, do we remember what it looked like other than a green light?
It wasn't just really bright to us, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of like looking at like a bright like stage light. Like you can't make out like the actual shape
Yeah.
behind it. It's just obfuscated by the light itself.
Is it just a rock? Is it carved into something?
I don't know, because everyone that was looking at it was acting crazy.
Well, if you want, you can pull it out and look away. I'll look at it, and then I can try to remember what it looks like.
Well, you can just tell us when you're looking at it. You don't have to do it in separate movements.
I figured if I was looking at it, I'd be pulled back in those memories again.
That's
Could be.
a fair assumption.
I tell you what, and I will take my bag off, and I will pull. Shit. Yes, I will pull my belongings out into the side.
Which I think your belongings you stowed on your person
Yeah.
to make room in the bag.
Oh, that's right.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah,
they are
sweet.
hidden amongst your.
Well done, past me.
Good job.
Power of
Um,
foresight.
So can I like like if it's like a canvas satchel, I can like squash it in and kind of feel the form of the rock, right?
Yeah.
So I can like
In theory.
reach up the top and be like, it's this shape.
And as he bunches it around, you see kind of a vaguely oval type shape. It's obviously hard to make out any details, and even feeling through it, the canvas itself is so thick and bunched up in places that it's hard to really get a read on it. As you do kind of, if you do run your hand across it, you do notice, like, as you're rubbing your hand, it's not smooth. As you kind of like hit kind of like a sharp edge, and then like your fingers kind of find an outcropping or two, and kind of feel around it. But it is about, yay high, yay big.
Whoa. That's big.
It's a good size.
Thick ass boy.
Dang.
I thought I saw your satchel bit bigger than before.
Dragging on the floor behind me.
Just like, it's been a beach ball instead of like your normal. Now it makes sense.
And upon seeing that, I do have to apologize. That would not fit in your head.
No, how astute of you,
Thank you.
Mr. Clint.
Thank you. I'm still volunteering to look at it, though.
Maybe not in the middle of the night. In the middle of the road. Halfway
Okay.
between my house and town.
Can I put my bag down on the ground and like push it so that the opening is facing like some trees, and then lift the flap of my bag and see if light emanates from it?
Sure.
It's pitch
You-
black, so you can see it, right?
Yeah, you all are in, guided mostly by starlight at this point. Your torch is long abandoned back in the mine, but Billy Joe knows this route by heart. And you gently place down the bag, all of the rest of you kind of gathering behind Jebediah out of the way as he gently lifts the flap of this canvas bag, and you all see darkness. Nothing changes. No light.
Dope.
You sure it's in there?
You just
I didn't see anything.
yeah.
Satchel's pretty big.
We all just saw.
A quick flash couldn't hurt. Clint, why don't you just take a quick look at it?
I think that's the issue.
I
Think about it.
What's the issue?
Think about it. It was pulling people to it. And once somebody had eyes on it, it kept pulling more people. It needs something or someone. And if you want to put your eyes on it, I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it does freak me out now that you did point out we are in the middle of nowhere in the dark. And Jeb, I do apologize. I don't mean to take this lightly. That's the only way I can deal with something that's ridiculous that I've never witnessed before. I believe you, and I thank you for your discretion on keeping that from everyone in that church. I do think the doctor's trying to help us, but until we get to knowing what this thing can do, I think that's a smart move, especially with our smart boy engineer all looped up on whatever the doc gave him.
Right.
No offense, Dylan.
Yeah, someone better check on him.
We're talking about you.
He doesn't understand words.
Oh, that was so good.
But Jeb, yeah,
I didn't see any reason on setting panic.
I think that's smart. Didn't mean to doubt you. It was just a little. Now knowing that what we know seems foolish, but you can understand why we were so confused as to why you'd want to dodge the doc and not let them know all the details.
You could have given us a little bit of a nod, though, way back when. You made me feel a little crazy back there.
Just talking to a tree.
We should probably get
There were just too many eyes and ears around.
Okay.
Especially when I'm walking through and administering peace.
That's what you like to call it.
I do, because that's what it is. Might need to check your prescription.
Oh, he's not even wearing glasses. Come on, let's get on.
I need to get some sleep. I'm so sleepy.
Yeah, I don't like being out here in the dark either. I think we could all use some rest. Bill, Joe, would you mind leading the way? Jeb, do you want me to carry that for you?
No. I think I'm just fine. Gotten this far.
Alright, when anything acts up, you start feeling weird carrying that thing, you let me know.
Mm-hmm. I will.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
Does it seem like there's an attachment with Jebediah to the rock now? Like, it just
Give me
seems
a
kind of
psychology check.
You have to.
Jebediah, you can give me a fast talk to avoid it, or persuade.
Oh, I failed both.
I also failed, so it don't really matter.
It's really dark outside.
Dylan comes to his own conclusion.
Yeah? You figure it out?
Yeah, I figured it out. He's got it.
I solved your glowing rock puzzle. Great. Do you go to gather up the bag?
Yeah.
Please give me a dexterity check.
Dexterity.
Oh, buddy.
Dear Keeper, why you do this?
Does it help if I tell you how I go to pick up the bag?
With a stick.
It's too late.
We'll see.
With your dexterity check.
I rolled a 9.
Amazing. How do you go and pick up the bag?
Put the flap back over. and then I will reach around and pick it up from the like the corners that are closest to where the flap closes, so that it pulls upwards and the flap stays on.
Gotcha. Sure. Easy enough. You sling it back around your shoulder, the familiar weight of it now kind of settling into place as it nestles against your hip. You feel like almost this like sigh of relief to have it back with you, this exhale, this of relief as you all set down the road towards the baker's home for the night. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Yeah.
We will finish this never-ending night in the next session and see where we go from there.
Ashley!
Oh boy.
The breathing.
This was such a...
Oh.
This was... I was curious. We got the reveal.
Yeah.
There's still maybe a few secrets out there, but
Peer pressure.
you know, it's good to hold on to something. Yeah, thank you all so much for joining us for the Hollow. We will be back on the, what is it, the 20 something?
We will be
It's-
back on the 20...
2 weeks today.
Yes. No.
Yep.
We'll be back for the Hollow on the 28th. We are
28th.
we are pushing. We are off next week on Wednesday due to Valentine's Day.
Oh my goodness!
So we're pushing our schedule out a week. So I think it's gonna be we're off next Wednesday. So just know that you're loved. We won't be able to tell you live next Wednesday, but we love you. And the 21st, we're back with the, I believe, final session of Die RPG.
Final session of Die. See what happens.
And then if we survive that, we'll be back on the 28th with more Hollow Call of Cthulhu. So be sure to stay tuned. Action-packed February.
Huzzah!
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
No
my
favor,
God.
though.
Yes, no fables this week, but we will be starting
Yeah.
Thursday. The
New
15th.
night, new night, new night.
On the 15th, that is a week tomorrow. That's when we will be restarting Fables, and there might be a new face joining us. So
What?
That be who? That be who? That be what?
So excited.
Dad
yeah,
said,
so definitely come and give your support to whoever that might be. And yes, we'll see you then, I guess. Are we back on Monday for community somethings?
We're
Yep,
not.
we'll do something on Monday.
I'll be there.
Do something on Monday, and then we will see you the following Thursday for Fables, and then we will return to regularly whatever schedule. Yep.
Awesome. Sweet. We're gonna raid Dork Tales. We're
Woo!
playing Vampire
Nice.
Masquerade.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a little creepy. We'll share some creepy love with them.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it
Uh,
now.
but brilliant. Yeah, if you stick around, you get some channel points that you can spend during Fables of Gallia to give flex points to your fave half-elf sorcerer if you want.
Yeah.
How do we give
Um,
it to Jay?
Now! Anyway,
Created
thank
a
you so
button
much.
for that.
Thank you for joining us for Call of Cthulhu. Thank you for joining us for the Hollow. I hope you had a good time. I hope you had a creepy time. I hope you had a time. This time is over. Farewell.